Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was one of the most spectacular games ever created. To this day, it's still recognized by the Guinness World Records as the highest ranked video game of all time. Yeah, screw Halo and Final Fantasy and Grand Theft Auto. The greatest video game ever was released on the freaking N64 console. Its re-release on 2 separate occasions for the GameCube and most recently on the 3DS just goes to show how groundbreaking and popular it is. Once again, we take a step back in time, as this one takes place prior to Link to the Past, and supposedly covers the events that led to Ganon reaching the Golden Land and getting the Triforce, the event that fans now refer to as the Imprisoning War. However, there remains debate as to whether this is the actual war that is mentioned in Link to the Past, and I'll get to that at the end of the review. Your version of Link in this game is as a member of the Kokiri tribe, a group of Peter Pan wannabes since they live in a forest and never grow up. When the Deku tree that oversees them all begins to die, the tree sends a fairy named Navi and tells Link that a great evil is coming to the outside world of Hyrule and Link must stop it. His leaving the forest is devastating to his girlfriend Saria, but his rival Mido is thrilled. Gee, why do those names sound familiar? The game took full advantage of the 64-bit graphics capabilities as it departs from the straight top-down view to a 3D interface. One new aspect in this game is it taking place in both day and night. By daytime, the Great Hyrule Field isn't that dangerous. Well, unless you include the giant mutant pea-hats! I mean, damn! Imagine being a kid playing this game for the first time, and you approach what looks like a huge flower, and suddenly it comes out of the ground and chases you with huge spikes spinning like a propeller! Yeah, that's nightmare fuel for sure! By comparison, the zombies you have to fight on the field at nighttime are a cakewalk by comparison! Another new aspect is the targeting system. The 3D graphics make it more difficult to hit moving targets, especially with ranged weapons, so you can use one simple button command to focus on the target and make sure you hit it. Of course, the game's story explains this by having Navi perched near the target to act as the guide. Oh yeah, I should probably bring up Navi, who is right up there with Cedric the Owl from King's Quest V among the most annoying guide characters. Every so often, she pops up with this "hey" sound with something to tell you, and you either have to take the time to hear it, even if you have before, or deal with the Navi button flashing on the screen. I don't know, I never saw her as anything less than a nuisance, but a lot of gamers look upon her with outright hatred, even though her aid in the targeting system is a godsend. She's disliked even more than Kapora Gabora, who once again appears in this game. In fact, the hatred of Navi is only topped by another character, which we'll get to later. You first have to sneak into Hyrule Castle and get past the guards to reach Princess Zelda, and let me tell you, there are some of these guards that I still don't know how I got past them. Zelda tells you that the leader of the Gerudo thieves, Ganondorf, is trying to get the Triforce from the Sacred Realm and wants you to help her find it first. You also meet this girl Malon, who practically starts flirting with Link once she meets him, and her dad Talon of Lon Lon Ranch, who I'm sure have no relation to Marin and Terran. To start off, you need to find the 3 spiritual stones that will unlock a secret room in the Temple of Time. You also need to learn songs on an ocarina. This game is where the concept of using music to unlock secrets really took off. Rather than just selecting a song from your menu like in Link's Awakening, you actually have to learn and play the correct notes using the controller buttons. The Land of Hyrule's landscape has once again been turned around, as the Lost Woods are in the east, Lake Hylia is in the south, and Kakariko is in the northeast with Death Mountain behind it, not to mention the new Gerudo Desert where Ganondorf's thieves reside. So apparently Hyrule undergoes a massive geographical shift every 100 years or so. Once you get the 3 stones and the Ocarina of Time from Zelda as she escapes Ganondorf, you can use the stones and the Songs of Time to discover the Master Sword and open the gateway to the Sacred Realm, which Ganondorf follows you into. And he gets the Triforce first because when you entered the realm, you got put in suspended animation because the sword is apparently rated M and you couldn't use it yet. So yeah, you get put into a medieval cryo-freeze for 7 years without any food or training whatsoever, and then wake up all grown up and capable of using the sword. And while you were becoming a big boy, Ganondorf took over Hyrule using the Triforce and turned it into something out of the Evil Dead movies. Something tells me we didn't think this plan all the way through. So now the great sage Rauru needs your help in stopping and sealing away Ganondorf. Your quest now becomes finding and releasing the other sages, which turn out to be Saria, the Goron King Darunya, the spoiled princess of the Zoras Ruto, Zelda's protector Impa, and the Gerudo's chief lieutenant Nabooru. Okay, but what about Kasuto? Who was that town named after? And by the way, what is it with Link getting so many women in this game? By my count, he has Zelda, Saria, Melon, Ruto, and Nabooru coming after him. Good night, Link's a pimp daddy! As you search for the temples, you find this mysterious ninja person named Shake, who keeps giving you hints and teaching you new songs that you need to unlock clues and get into certain temples. At the same time, you learn that Link is not actually a Kokiri, but one of the Hylian race who was left with the Kokiri by his parents to protect him or something like that. While in Link to the Past, you had to travel back and forth between the light and dark worlds, in this game you travel back and forth between the past and future, completing tasks as a kid that allow things to change in the future. One could argue why you just can't go back and stop Ganondorf before he comes back to Hyrule with the Triforce, but I guess Link has no allies in the past with Zelda in hiding, so it kinda makes sense. One essential minigame is the ability to claim and ride a horse. This snake oil salesman has taken Lon Lon Ranch from Melon and Talon, and you have to rescue their prize horse Epona from the ranch. You can only use Epona on the field, but she makes it getting across much faster, which is needed in some of the time trials in this game. You can also find and claim Skulltulas, which are basically giant gold spiders. And that's nothing compared to the really giant ones that drop down from the ceiling at you. These game designers can be really twisted. The trading game is back, as you must use it this time to get the Bigoron's sword, which is the strongest in the game. So yes, here there is a sword more powerful than the Master Sword. Not sure how that works. The temples each provide their own challenges, not the least of which is the Water Temple. Oh god, the Water Temple! This one haunted the dreams of many a gamer. How difficult is it? When the more challenging Master Quest Edition was released for the GameCube, they didn't change the Water Temple at all! Once you unite the sages, Shake reappears and reveals himself, or herself, to have been Zelda all along. So yeah, unlike in the previous games, Zelda has actually been aiding you in this quest, rather than just sitting around waiting to be rescued. So naturally she gets captured right then and there and you have to go save her. We were so close to breaking the status quo. The sages are able to help you enter Ganondorf's tower by creating this unbelievable rainbow bridge, and it's in this last stage that the new graphics really begin to show their awesomeness. This entire last stage had a dark, foreboding, epic feel to it. Making it through Ganon's tower isn't as difficult as some of the other temples. You just need to make it through 6 individual rooms and hit these globes with light arrows to break the seal, and then make your way straight up the tower to Ganondorf's chamber. I cannot overemphasize just how epic this scene was for me the first time. You're climbing up this seemingly endless stairway as organ music plays in the background, really giving you the feel that you're getting closer and closer to one epic final confrontation. You have to beat Ganondorf by knocking his own spells at him, much like Aghanim, then hit him with light arrows without Navi's help. Yeah, now you're sorry you complained about her all this time, aren't ya? Once you beat Ganondorf, you must escape his collapsing tower, and then defeat him again in his pig-faced Ganon form. You know, seeing this Link take on this monstrosity with his giant trident surrounded by a ring of fire, it really makes it look like his descendants are gonna have it easy. Defeat Ganon for good, and then Zelda and the other sages seal him off in the evil realm. After that, Zelda laments that her carelessness as a kid to get the Triforce led to all this, and also caused Link to never have a childhood. To that end, she uses the Ocarina to send Link back to the past to reclaim his lost youth. Ocarina of Time is definitely one of the most epic, complex, challenging, engrossing, and entertaining games created for any game system. However, for Zelda fans, this is where all the questions regarding the series and its continuity between games really began. It starts with the discrepancies regarding what actually happens in this game and what the legend told in Link to the Past claims. For instance, why are there 7 sages of different races and genders when the past game simply called them the 7 wise men? I can actually excuse that one by suggesting that history is rarely recorded to perfect accuracy, and that detail was just forgotten over time. But there remain bigger issues, like Link to the Past never saying that Ganon conquered Hyrule before he was sealed away, that the order to seal him in Link to the Past was given by the king when it suggested the king was killed in Ocarina of Time, and Ganon supposedly being sealed off with just the Triforce of Power rather than the complete Triforce as seen in Link to the Past. But there may be a way to explain all this, and it lies within the biggest and most debate-inducing theory in the history of gaming. The belief that Zelda sending Link back in time split Hyrule into 2 separate histories. Yeah, prepare to have your minds blown in the remaining episodes, because we're gonna have to deal with split timelines, multiple dimensions, and an out-and-out mess of where all the games, past and future, lie within the Legend of Zelda's total history. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun.